What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a very exciting Liverpool transfer news video. The main topic of the video will be that the Daily Mirror are reporting that Paulo Dybala wouldn't hesitate to join Liverpool if he was offered a chance to sign for Liverpool, and I'm very excited about this because Paulo Dybala is a fantastic player and he has been strongly linked with Manchester United. Apparently Man United want to bring in Paulo Dybala, and maybe Lukaku will go the other way. Maybe Lukaku will sign for Juventus or another club. But according to the English newspaper, Paulo Dybala would like to play for a big club that has a chance to win trophies in the Champions League and in the Premier League, and that is of course Liverpool and Manchester City. I think are the two clubs that Paulo Dybala would really jump at the chance to sign for. And Paulo Dos Sena, actually the ex-Liverpool defender, said this to an Italian newspaper. If Dybala had to choose to leave Juventus to go to Man United, I'm sure he would make himself available to the new club and he could benefit from the atmosphere in the Premier League. We are talking about another world football superpower here, but Man United are not ready to win big in Europe, so he may as well stay at Juventus. If the team in question had been Liverpool or Manchester City, in my opinion, he would have had no doubts, because Man United are more of a construction site at the moment, and for this reason I understand Dybala's indecision. And I fully agree with Andrea Dos Sena here that I think why would Dybala go to Manchester United apart from earning big money and maybe starting more regularly? Man United are in transition. They probably won't challenge for the Premier League title in the next, at least in the next 2 years, but maybe even the next 3 years. And who knows when will Man United have a strong enough squad to actually play and compete for the Champions League trophy. And I think Paulo Dybala can't risk his next move to be to a club which struggles to even qualify for the Champions League. So yeah, let me know what do you think about this, and if you enjoy these transfer news videos, please leave a like. It really helps me out. It shows me that you guys enjoy the videos, and I'm really excited for today because Liverpool will play Manchester City in the Community Shield final, the curtain raiser for the new season, the first competitive game. According to the reports from Italy, Man United are ready to offer Dybala £10 million per year to make the transfer happen, but Dybala has yet to agree a deal with Manchester United, and Andrea Dos Sena suggested that this is likely to do with the fact that United aren't ready to win big like Liverpool and Manchester City. So I think this is a very interesting development, and if I was Paulo Dybala, honestly, I would wait for a bigger club. I mean a bigger club in terms of a bigger club who can win things right now to come in for Paulo Dybala. I mean, Man United had broken 2 records this summer, making Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire the most expensive fullback and centre-back respectively. I don't think that Dybala would still want to sign for Manchester United because, as I said, I don't think they are ready to challenge for the Premier League title or to challenge for the Champions League in the coming years, because they have to qualify, and the Premier League is very tough. And I mean, Maguire for £80 million. What do you think about that transfer? That is just crazy. It just blows my mind. Is Maguire now worth more than Virgil van Dijk? Like, seriously? I mean, don't get me wrong, Maguire is a decent defender, but he's nowhere near the level of Virgil van Dijk, in my opinion. Leicester really dug their heels in. They didn't want to sell Maguire, but there is a price for every player. And apparently for Maguire, it took £80 million to part ways with Leicester for him. And Leicester made a smart business here because they can probably buy 2 or 3 very good players to replace Maguire and even strengthen their squad. And Manchester United have been doing what they are always doing since Sir Alex Ferguson left their club. They are gambling big, signing big money trade players, but so far it hasn't worked. The last time Man United won the league, since then, they spent like 930 million pounds on transfers. Almost as much money as Manchester City. But if you compare how successful Man City have been and how bad Man United have been, they are miles apart. And this is, I think, the main reason why Paulo Dybala will probably hesitate joining Manchester United. And I really want Liverpool to go for Dybala because he would be a fantastic acquisition. But if we don't go for him right now, maybe in January or next summer, we could go for him again, because Paulo Dybala, I think, would suit Liverpool perfectly. He could play as a false nine, as a winger. He could play as a player behind the Firmino as well, in a number of positions, and we could interchange Dybala with Salah, Firmino or Mane. Whatever position they take up, we could interchange them and we could have a really fluid attack. And I think Paulo Dybala is not fulfilling his full potential at Juventus because he has been in the shadows of Cristiano Ronaldo recently, and even before that he had some seasons with very prolific, very good numbers. But since Ronaldo came in, Dybala sometimes sits on the bench. He doesn't get the rhythm of playing every week, which is a real shame. And Pep Guardiola has fired a jab back right at Liverpool just before the Community Shield final. This is what Pep Guardiola said. Of course, we would like to win the Champions League, so big respect to Liverpool for winning the Champions League, but why is that a higher achievement than what we did in 11 months? I'm pretty sure Liverpool would have liked to have won the Premier League because it is 29 years since they last did. It's incredibly good that what they did in the Champions League, but we were better in the league. What we did has never been achieved before. It was awesome. I think my colleagues and football players worldwide know how difficult it is. It was the first time in history that a team has won 4 titles in one season. Offer me the same again, even if it meant not winning the Champions League, and I would sign up for it right now. And yeah, I think we would all take winning 4 trophies in one season, including the Premier League title, instead of winning the Champions League. But the reason why Manchester City are not getting enough praise is that they have both these titles fair and square, no question about it. They are spending 200 million pounds on average per season. They spent like 1.5 billion pounds in the last 10 years. Just to compare, Liverpool spent half as much in 20 years. Liverpool spent half as much money as Man City in double the time. Can you just compare that and just register that in your mind? This is what Liverpool are up against. It's an unprecedented spending in English football. No other club, not even Manchester United, have spent this amount of money ever before in a 10-year period. Guardiola is probably really mad that the media and most football fans were talking about Liverpool and their Champions League win instead of talking about Man City and their 4 trophies. And frankly, I think Liverpool winning the Champions League is a bigger achievement than Man City winning 4 trophies because of Man City's spending. And don't get me wrong, Liverpool spent a good amount of money in the past 2 transfer windows, but Jurgen Klopp has a net spend of like 30 million pounds per season, or 40 million pounds, something like that. And Guardiola has a net spend of like 150 or 200 million pounds per season. So Guardiola is spending 3 times as much net as Klopp, and that's why Liverpool are getting so much praise. And Jurgen Klopp believes that Liverpool are ready to take on Manchester City, so I will talk about that in detail in my Liverpool Man City preview video. But Jamie Carragher spoke out before the season, and this is what he said. I think it will be very difficult for Liverpool. I think City are a special team. City have proven that when they are at their best, they get 90 odd points, 98 and then 100 points in 2 seasons. Liverpool have done it once, City have done it twice. That tells me that's what City do. I think this season we have got to see if Liverpool's season in getting 97 points was a freak or not. It probably could be, because it was. It's probably only happened 3 or 4 times in history, and Man City have done it twice. That could be a problem, not just for Liverpool, but for the rest of the top 6, as long as Man City and Pep Guardiola are about. And I think the key here is Pep Guardiola. Without Guardiola, Man City are not getting 98 and 100-point seasons, that's for sure. So huge praise goes out to Guardiola. He deserves all the praise that he gets, but probably Liverpool might have to wait until Guardiola leaves Manchester City to win the Premier League title. But I still think that there is a chance, because if Man City have get some injuries, and because Vincent Kompany left them, their defense will not be as strong this season as it was last season. But because of the way they play and they keep the ball so much, sometimes teams just don't have the possession to hurt Manchester City. But we shall wait and see. It's going to be a very, very interesting, very exciting season. And Jurgen Klopp said just before the season started this: for the first time in my career now, or from Monday onwards, when Sadio Mane is back as well, I will have my full team together from last year. We have to train together, games are coming up, and in that period we still have to win football games. That's the main thing I am thinking about at the moment, how we can do that. And I don't think too much about how happy I am that the boys are still together. And I think it will be crucial that Liverpool keep their key players fit. Mane, Salah, Firmino, Alisson, Van Dijk. These are the key players that Liverpool need to keep fit for as long as possible, for as much as possible. And I think that's the biggest weakness that Liverpool has, that if any of these 5 players get a long-term injury, or even get a 1 or 2 month injury, Liverpool will struggle to replace them with the same amount of quality in the starting lineup. And that's why I really wanted Jurgen Klopp to make just one big transfer in this summer, but at the moment it looks like Liverpool won't make any big transfers. But there is still a possibility that Liverpool can again achieve a great season. I mean, in the Champions League we can beat anyone. I really hope that we focus a little bit on the League Cup and the FA Cup this season and give the young players a chance. Now we have a much bigger squad than last season, which could hopefully help us in those cup competitions, because last season when we got an injury crisis we just didn't have enough players to call upon. But this season it could be different, so I really hope that Liverpool win as many games and as many trophies as possible. Jurgen Klopp gave an exclusive interview to Goal.com where he explained how Pep Guardiola phoned him up after the Champions League final. When Jurgen Klopp arrived at the dressing room after winning the Champions League, he was approached by the head physio Lee Nopes. This is what Jurgen Klopp said about the incident. So he handed me his phone. I looked at the screen and it said Pep. 100% I thought it was my Pep Linders, my assistant manager. I thought, okay, that's odd. It was only when I started speaking that I realized it was the other Pep Guardiola. There was just a lot of respect, Jurgen Klopp says. I don't know who called who, but Lee obviously worked with him at City. It was nice, a nice moment. We talked about what a great season it was. We had a few jokes. We were both obviously in a good mood. Jurgen Klopp and Guardiola are not playing mind games in the media, coded messages and anything like that. This is what Jurgen Klopp said about this. I don't need this kind of battle on the sideline. I don't need this very negative kind of emotion when I see my colleague a few yards away. I can still want to win the game with all I have without having all that. For me, the rest is not part of the game, and he obviously sees it similarly. Of course, it's different in the games because we are both very competitive. At that point, I'm not too concerned with how our relationship can improve. For 90 minutes, my focus is somewhere else. But it's a very respectful relationship. We don't have contact all the time, apart from when we play each other. Or if he calls up our physio in the dressing room and I can get the phone. Apart from that, it's all good. So Jurgen Klopp and Guardiola still has a very respectful relationship. I think Guardiola was pretty upset with the comments that Jurgen Klopp made about Man City's spending, but he told the truth. Jurgen Klopp is telling the truth, even though Guardiola and Man City don't like that one bit. It's still true that Man City, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain and Barcelona can spend money like no other club in the world can. they can drop 200 million pounds on a transfer window without blinking an eye, without breaking a sweat. Liverpool could do that only once, because we sold Coutinho for 140 million. And according to Sky Sports, Liverpool are pricing Ryan Kent out of a move in this summer transfer window, because Liverpool want about 12 million pounds for Ryan Kent, and Rangers wanted to buy him, but they don't have 12 million. Even at 7 million, almost a 50% reduction on the price, Liverpool are struggling to find suitors. We don't want to loan him out again. We want to probably sell him, but Rangers would need the price to drop even further, because they were able to come in for Kent. That they need the price to be around 5-6 million pounds. That's how little money Rangers can afford to spend on one player, Ryan Kent, even though they are a big fan of him. And I think Liverpool are right here, that they say pay us 12 million or 10 million, otherwise no chance, you are not getting Ryan Kent. If you can't pay the price, then Ryan Kent stays at Liverpool. But it would be a wasted season, because I just feel that Ryan Kent wouldn't get nowhere near enough game time to actually develop as a footballer. So at the moment, Ryan Kent's future is pretty much up in the air, and we shall wait and see what happens with him. And listen to this, Luke Shaw absolutely hated how last season finished, with Man City, Manchester United's crosstown rivals, winning the Premier League and 4 trophies, and Liverpool, their biggest rivals of Man United, winning the Champions League. This is what Luke Shaw said. Last season was so hurtful for everyone at Manchester United. As a team, we were very hurt. It was really tough for all of us to take, and you couldn't really enjoy your holidays. You see the Champions League final and the Europa League final, and they are all English teams, and we are not there. It makes you feel even worse, especially the way the finals went, with Liverpool winning the 6th Champions League trophy. None of us want that to happen again. I'm afraid, Luke Shaw, it's not up to Man United, because Man United can't really influence the Premier League title race. They can't influence who wins the Champions League either. Luke Shaw can really cry crocodile tears. It doesn't change a thing, and I'm actually just really happy that how the tables have turned. It was Manchester United winning all the time big trophies in the past like 20 years in the Premier League especially, and now it's Liverpool's turn. And now it's Liverpool's turn to really win trophies, and also to probably a little bit wind up the Manchester United fans, because Man United fans have been doing that for 20 years with Liverpool. They have been winding us up for 20 years. Now it's our turn, and I'm loving it. I'm really looking forward to the season, and just seeing Man United struggle in the past few years have been just delicious. And also Forbes came out with a very interesting list of the 50 most valuable sports teams in the world, and Liverpool are on that list, and we are in 45th with an estimated value of 2.2 billion pounds. Sorry, $2.2 billion. And if you consider that Liverpool was bought by FSG for $370 million, 300 million pounds, Liverpool has come a long way, and what a magnificent investment it has been for FSG. If they decide to sell the club right now, they could net 7 times profit or 6 times profit from the deal, and I think that's a great investment. But FSG are not listening to offers at the moment. They don't really want to sell Liverpool. They want to develop the club. They want to win as many trophies as possible, and I think they have been great owners. Very happy with them. And that's it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.